Now, what's this, you might be asking? Well, it's not two weird looking bananas, I can tell you that. Because this is Unturned 4.0. Or Unturned 2, whatever you want to call it. Either way, this is the first playable beta that we've got of the game. And it is a closed beta, so only a select few people have access to it at the moment. But as you can see in the bottom right, this is a vehicle demo, so all the features have been stripped out from it, and this is only here to show the vehicle mechanics and physics and all that kind of stuff. But as you can see, there is a few more little things in this build of the game that we can have a look at. So let's get started. Now first of all, just look at how nice these animations are for movement. I think this model is going to change as well, so little cheese string man here is probably not here to stay. I think Nelson said he was going to remodel this guy to make him a little less skinny and just to fit a little bit better. But the animations are all here, as you can see. There's a unique animation for forwards, backwards and side to side. And even if you sort of combine the two, and you can see the direction I look in, my head kind of tilts in that direction. I think that's a nice little touch. You can also now see your player model in first person, and of course the animations translate over to that. And I think that's a pretty nice feature. That paired with the ability to free look now, so you can walk in one direction and look in another. This will be super useful for if you're getting chased, for example, or maybe you just want to enjoy the nice view. Another cool thing about the characters in Unturned 2 is that they are now responsive to the environment. So, for example, if I walk up this ramp and I turn, you can see that my leg just bends a little bit and sort of adjusts itself to the incline. And I think little details like this is something that really makes a game feel that much more polished. And that's not the only thing that's dynamic. You may have noticed some change in seasons in the background as well. So this introduces things such as snow, for example. And the cool thing about snow is that it forms a layer on the ground, but if something's in the way, such as this tunnel or this block over here, then the snow will not fall in this area. And I'm pretty sure this will be the same for rain too, so if it's raining outside and you stand under here, it'll be dry under here. So this is going to be really cool for making bases in Unturned 2, because if you build a shelter and it's raining or snowing it outside, then it's not going to rain or snow inside your house and it will actually shelter you from the environment. You can also leave footprints in the snow now, as you can see, so this could be really useful for tracking people down, for example. And I think it's just, it's really nice and dynamic. The whole world just feels a lot more lively now. Alright, I think I've kept you waiting long enough. Let's get on to the meat and potatoes of this build. The vehicles. Now just from a purely aesthetic standpoint, you can see that the vehicles look a whole lot nicer. There's a lot more going on, and it's not just for looks too. Let me show you what they can do. Now to get in a vehicle, you no longer can just go up and press F anywhere. You actually have to choose the door that corresponds with the seat you want to get in. So if I want to get in the back, I will choose this door, but I want to get in the driver's seat, so I'll press F on this door. Now you can see that there was a beautiful animation there for getting in, and of course out of the car. And pretty much everything has an animation now, which is a huge improvement over the previous game, which didn't really have as many animations. So once you're in the car, there's a few things you can do. You can do things like turn the hazards on, you can pull the handbrake, you can look back, and your little character puts his arm on the chair. I think that's pretty nice. And, you know, all this just makes it feel a whole lot more immersive. But you might have noticed we are in neutral. So, to get moving, we need to start the engine. Once the engine's on, we can begin to drive. And as you've noticed, the pedals also have a little animation when you drive. It is just all so very, very polished. Of course, there's all the standard things like headlights, which also lights up the heads-up display. And, you know, if there's some pesky bandits in the way, you can honk them out the way, I'm sure they won't mind. Just like with footprints, vehicles also leave tyre tracks in the snow now, so if you want to track some people down maybe, or, you know, just enjoy the immersion, you can do that whilst in the comfort of a vehicle. So to actually drive the vehicles then, well, I can tell you that it handles very, very well. It actually feels like there's real physics now, and it feels like the car's actually gripping to the road. You know, every problem that you can think of with Unturned 3's clunky vehicles is no longer a problem in Unturned 4.0. And in games like this, you either nail the vehicle physics or you don't. And I think if these physics aren't nailed, then they're pretty damn close. Even right down to the small details, such as the little bit of suspension you have when you turn. You can see the car just kind of tilts a little bit when you turn. Oh, and yes, you can drift. One thing that I like is how the speedometer is a part of the car. It's on the car's heads-up display instead of just on the game's UI. And I think just more dynamic features like that really come together, you know, just to make it feel immersive and polished. So damaging the car now depends on where you hit it. So you can see if I scrape this side here, little sparks will appear where I'm hitting it. And something you may have also noticed is how when inside in first person, all the sounds from the outside are muffled. But when you're in third person, they're not. And I think that'll go for all outside sounds, so gunshots, maybe even player voices and stuff like that. But that is because the car has windows. And of course, you can smash the windows. So let me just try this here. There you go, you can see the glass particles fall off the hood there. And you'll notice that now that the window's smashed, the sound is no longer muffled. And you know, it makes sense. And this is the same for putting up and down the windows. When the windows are down, you can hear the outside sounds more clearly. And when the windows are up, everything's muffled again. Now we've already seen a tiny bit of this feature in Unturned 3.0 with the tyre popping. You know, if you shoot a tyre, the tyre will pop. But now I think we can expect to have a lot more just little things like that added to damaging of cars. So maybe you'll be able to take a door off or gradually scrape away and have visible marks on the car. I think that'd be a nice little addition. Now I'll see if I can smash this back window here. Let's have a look. I need to get a run up, so let me get forward and let's do this in first person. See what happens. There we go. So as you can see, depending on where you hit the car, that part of the car will be damaged. Now, when getting out of a moving car in Unturned 4.0, you can see the car carries on moving. And I know this happens in 3.0, but it only happens in single player, I found at least. So I did test this on an Unturned 4.0 server, and it works. Another thing that works is you can now stand on top of a moving vehicle, which is something you cannot do in Unturned 3.0. If you stand on a vehicle in 3.0, you'll just kind of stay stationary and the car will continue moving. But now, you can actually stand on top of a car whilst it's moving. And I think that opens up a whole load of opportunities for vehicles in Unturned 4.0. And that's something I'm super excited for. Now, the multiplayer does behave kind of strangely sometimes. Let's fill the car up. Oh!
Yeah, I became a UAV.
I'm stuck. Like, I'm in a tree.
Oh, fuck.
Hold on a second.
Help me. Okay. What if I get like that? There we go.
Yes, they are. Okay, so then each reboot, vehicles will just get put back to normal.
Every single window. Are you serious?
Where did it just
go? Are you serious?
Where did it just go? You just said smashing. So what could make vehicles in Unturned 4.0 even better? Now, whilst I don't think anything is final here, I'm sure a lot of things will change before the release. I thought I'd still list a few things that I think could be improved anyway. So the first thing is about getting in and out of vehicles. Now, I really like how you have to go to a certain door in order to get in that seat. But when getting out of vehicles, and especially in third person, you still have to look over at the door to get out. You can't just press F anywhere, which I think would make more sense, especially in third person. Maybe not in first, Maybe in first person it could stay this way, you know, in case other interactable things are going to be added, such as, I don't know, radio or toggleable headlights or something, I don't know. But I think in third person, you just have to move your mouse to the left and then press F to get out. And I think that's almost kind of pointless in a way. Now the second thing is about looking behind in first person. The driver can look behind, which is all well and good, but the passengers can't. As you can see, when you turn, you just see the back of the seat. I don't know if this is intentional, but I think it'd make sense if the passengers could look behind them. Because, for example, if there's a car chase and you're in a shootout, the passengers want to be able to look back, maybe out the window or something, and be able to shoot back at the car that's chasing them. Just another small thing is these little mirrors here. They kind of reflect, as you can see, but I think it'd be nice if, you know, they could render an actual reflection there. I don't know if that'd be too resource intensive, but I think it'd look pretty cool just having the reflection there, or maybe in, you know, a mirror here. You could see what's behind you without having to look back, or you could just see you and your buddies in the car, and I think it'd just be another one of those nice little dynamic touches. Overall though, I am super impressed with the new vehicles in Unturned 4.0, and if this level of detail is being put into the vehicles, you can only imagine the amount of detail that's being put into other aspects of the game as well. So I think it's safe to say that these vehicles kind of set the standard for what we can expect to see in other features, such as weapons, base building, all that kind of good stuff. And believe me when I say I am super hyped for this game. I have no idea when there'll be a release date or anything like that. At the minute, this is just the first playable beta that we've got, so we don't know anything about the progress of the game apart from the devlogs, of course. But yeah, when this game comes out, I think it is going to be a gigantic improvement over the last one. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this look at the new vehicles in Unturned 4.0. I know I have certainly enjoyed playing it, and I am super grateful that I've had the chance to actually play this. Anyway, this is going to be it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.